On this episode of the Millennial Investor Series, I'll be reviewing this book, Real Women Invest in Real Estate. Did you know that the real estate industry in Nigeria is valued at 6.5 trillion naira? And also, less than 25% of Nigerian adult population own homes, compared to 56% in South Africa and 73% in Kenya. That shows that there's a huge opportunity in Nigeria, not only for those that want to own their own homes or get into real estate, but even for those that develop as well. Today, I'll be breaking down the principles shared in this book. This book is an amazing resource. It shares the A to Z principles of how to invest in real estate. It doesn't really cover the business side of real estate, but it's more for you, the layman, and how you can invest in real estate. While it says real women, trust me, even the men want to read this. One of the things I really like about this book is the fact that it shares principles, right? Principles are fundamental to success, and this book shares 26 principles on how to invest in real estate. Ultimately, principles work if you work them. That's why I really like principles. If you put the principles to work, they will work for you if you do put them to work correctly, all right? So I'm going to be talking about 4 key principles. I'll be sharing with you 4 key principles, right? If you want the rest of the principles, go get your copy, right? So the first one, of course, is A. A is for assessment and appreciation. I really like the fact that she started with you getting clarity, and which is what I always say, especially when you're thinking about investing, all right? Clarity. What exactly is your goal with investing in real estate, right? What's the long-term picture that you see, right? What exactly is your current budget? What's your current budget? What can you afford? And what are the options available for you? It's always good to assess a lot of these questions and ask yourself all of these questions, because that is what gives you clarity. Don't rush into anything you do not understand. Yes, real estate investing is fantastic and is a great way to invest your money, but you need to understand how it works. You need to understand if it's the right thing for you to do right now. You need to also understand that it's long term, right? And if you're not investing in it for the right reasons, you might have your money tied down, for no good reason, all right? So get clarity. What exactly is real estate going to do for me? Is this a long-term investment option that I want to get into now? Is this an option for me to maybe step out of my career? One of the really amazing stories she shares is about a story of a friend who was working in a company, and one day she just got tired of working and all of the politics, and she resigned, and everybody was shocked. But she told her that the only reason why she could step out at that time, despite the fact that she had a lot of responsibilities, was because she had been investing in real estate from the age of 25, right? So she owned a huge portfolio of real estate, and they were earning her income. So because of that, she could just step aside when, the management and all of that were playing politics with her career, right? So assess clarity is very important. The next alphabet I'd like to talk about is D, due diligence. People, this is Nigeria. We can't say this enough, right? If you don't understand the fundamentals, stay away from it, right? Don't get into any omonile trouble. Omonile trouble, omonile really means those that own the land. Like, it's a local term for people that own the land in Nigeria. If you get into all of that mix, you might get yourself in trouble, all right? So work with professionals, get yourself a certified real estate professional to work with, ask questions. Don't get into fraud. There are so many stories of people that say, come and invest in real estate, come and invest in real estate, and then they find out that the land doesn't even exist, or it was, the government has claimed the land, and then your money is gone down the drain. So many funny things like that. So please do your due diligence. Visit the land. Get your real estate professional to check the land records. Know if this land actually is owned by the person that is about to sell it to you. Due diligence is very important, and that's one key thing this book shares as a principle, all right? The next letter is L. L is for land. And I really like the fact that she really took time to break it down in this book about how you can invest in land. Now, we live in Nigeria, a country in Africa where we still have lots of land and people are still developing. We live in an emerging country. So land is like the lowest rung of the real estate ladder, right? It's a great place to start, especially if you have low budget. It's a very good place to start. If you're young and you want to get into real estate investing, buying land is one of the greatest ways you can start investing in land. In real estate, I beg your pardon. But the thing is, you need to understand how it works. There are 2 key things you always have to look out for, according to this book. Population and development, right? That is what will drive the value of your land. Think about it. The Lekki-Epe Expressway is one of the fastest growing areas in West Africa and maybe in Africa, right? About 80,000 people move into this axis every year. So that goes without saying that the value of land is going to keep increasing along that axis. There are also areas in Lagos where they're developing really fast. There's a lot of development, you know, there are roads, schools, young people and families are, you know, growing and they're beginning to ask for basic amenities. If you own land in those kind of areas, then the value of your land will likely increase, all right? So start from where you can probably afford, and land is a great way. One story I'd like to share with you is Mrs. Ibukun Awoshika's story. She shares about how Mrs. Ibukun Awoshika, you know, wanted to set up a factory at that point. And she needed 75 million naira to set up that factory. And then she realized that about a couple of years ago, I think it was, I can't remember now, about 8 years ago or thereabouts, she had bought land around the Chevron axis, which is an area in Lagos in Nigeria. And at that point, I think she bought the land at, I'm trying to remember now, she bought the land at 5 million, right? 5 million. But she needed 75 million to set up a factory. Guess what? She just went back to revalue the land and she sold that land for 61 million. She bought the land at 5 million, and over a period of, say, I think it was about 7 to 8 years, the value of the land increased. And when she needed money to build her factory, it came through. Another amazing story she shared was she bought plots of land in Ikorodu for 400,000 naira each per plot. And one day she needed cash. You know, she had a couple of projects and she needed cash. And a friend called her and said, I'd like to buy your land in Ikorodu. And guess what? The person offered 5 million per plot, right? Sorry, 3.2 million per plot for each of the land. 400,000 naira to 3.2 million naira. That is crazy. So trust me, land is a great way to get started investing. And the very last letter I would like to talk about is J, joint venture. And of course, you all know why I like joint venture, right? Investment clubs. Get together with people and start investing. You don't have to wait until you have all the money yourself, right? I mean, if you check through one of my videos on YouTube, I shared a story about how I helped 40 women invest together and buy plots of land. There's so much power in the power of many. There's a lot of power when people come together and invest together. You don't have to wait until you have all the money yourself, right? You don't have 400,000 naira, get 4 people together, build up from there, right? Build up, buy land, sell the land, buy another land. And I will end with this story because I love sharing stories. Stories are an amazing way to teach people. The story of a lady that had, I think she had 1 million and she wanted to buy a plot of land in an area in Lagos where, if you know Gbagada, that's another area in Lagos, right? And she bought a plot of land with a friend. She couldn't afford the land, so it was 2 million, but she and her friend came together and they bought it for 2 million. And then they sold the land after a couple of years, I think 2 or 3 years, for 5 million. And they took that money and they went to buy land somewhere else, I think around the Lekki axis, for 5 million. And within a couple of years, they sold that land for about 25 million, right? And then they took 25 million, bought another land. And before you knew it, they sold that one for about 75 million, right? So it's always about progress, right? Start somewhere. Come together with somebody else, a joint venture or something, and get started investing, all right? On this note, I would encourage you to please get a copy of this book. It's an amazing book. It's such a resource for real estate investing in Nigeria. Don't get into fraudulent hands, all right? And get started. I'll see you next week. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe.